Welcome back to Eye on Politics. The race for Texas Attorney General is now set for November. In the Republican runoff, State Senator Mayes Middleton of Galveston, who campaigned as MAGA Mayes Middleton, easily defeated Central Texas Congressman Chip Roy. In the Democratic runoff for Attorney General, State Senator Nathan Johnson of Dallas beat former Galveston Mayor Joe Jaworski. Now Johnson will face Middleton in the fall. I went one-on-one with Middleton, and I asked him if his top priority remains defeating the left.
Well, Jack, look, we're in a spiritual battle for the future of our state. They're trying to destroy Texas, and I mean the left. And that is why this fight is so important. They want to drag us down, like they've done New York, California, all the others. Look at James Tallarico running for office. You literally have Democrats running now for statewide on the campaign promise of not following the law, right? He said that God was non-binary transgender, that there was a biblical argument for abortion, and that the Ten Commandments was unchristian and un-American. And the Democrat in my race for Attorney General, Nathan Johnson, he actually had a debate in his primary, and he said the number one law he would not enforce and not follow is one I authored and passed, the women's privacy law, which kicks men out of women's restrooms and locker rooms. Right? This is common sense right here. And we've got to make sure, and I will make sure, that those Texas values are protected and defended, and I will aggressively enforce our laws to do so.
As you mentioned, you're going to be facing Democratic State Senator Nathan Johnson in November. I spoke with him, and he said that he wants to make the office less partisan, more independent. And I'm wondering, what do you think of that?
I'm the law and order, tough on crime candidate here. I want to make sure that Texas is the safest state in America to live and raise a family. That's how we keep our family safe. That's how we secure those God-granted freedoms of life and liberty and property.
When I was talking with Senator Johnson, he said that if he is elected, that people should expect that he is going to file suit against the Trump administration. If you are elected and then a Democrat is elected president in 2028, you could see yourself filing lawsuits against that administration. So talk to me a little bit about that.
We had 4 years of lawlessness. We had 4 years of a federal administration that was attacking Texas. Joe Biden was trying to force boys into girls' sports. He was trying to force men into women's restrooms and locker rooms. And that was something they used to say, oh, that's never going to happen. That's a solution in search for a problem. Well, you know what? It did happen.
I also spoke with the Democratic nominee, Nathan Johnson, one-on-one about his priorities, which he says are less partisan.
The Attorney General's office is intended to be one of the most powerful, benevolent agencies that the framers ever created. It has, to our great disadvantage over the past 10 years, and it to shamefully been transformed into little more than a partisan hack tool, a propaganda machine for a faction of a party that is not only doing great damage, it's leaving undone the good work that the office is supposed to do. I think we're going to win by a healthy margin because we're going to see independent voters, undecided voters who want to see an attorney general's office that works for them, that is there to enforce market rules of competition so prices come down, don't go up, that's there to work with, not against district attorneys so our streets are safer, that investigates and prosecutes corruption rather than participating in it. You will see Republican crossover from a disaffected Republican swath of the population, a huge swath that is absolutely dismayed.
If you win, President Trump will still be in office for a couple of years. Might we see the state of Texas, you and your office, filing suit against the Trump administration?
Extremely likely that you would see me in my office suing the Trump administration. It is not a goal of mine. I have more productive things to do than to sue the federal government for breaking the law. But Trump seems to have made it policy to ignore the law, to trample on rights, to actually trample on states' rights. I can't imagine that he's going to have an epiphany in November and decide to start complying with the Administrative Procedures Act and respecting the Constitution and the separation of powers and principles of federalism. I just don't see it happening, and that's going to call upon me to act in some degree in coordination with many good attorneys general across the country, most of them Democrats, but also Republican attorneys general who have sued the Trump administration when they illegally impound money that have been appropriated to the state, when they wipe out whole agencies and programs, and they violate contracts. I think I'll have to spend a lot of time suing the Trump administration. My big hope is that if we're faced with a divided government as a result of these November elections, is that I can spend less of my time suing the federal government, less of my time trying to keep Republicans in check, and more of my time trying to do something that you have to do and you learn to do as an effective legislator, and that is forging coalitions to get serious work done. I'm not running for this office just so I can be fighting all the time. I'm going to have to fight a lot. But there is a productive element to government that I think we owe it to the public, whatever office you're in.